July 7th, 2026. Dear Angry Me, have you ever gone to bed feeling upset and had the feeling carry on throughout the next day? That's my day today. So, if you listened to yesterday's podcast, I was in a pretty giddy mood. Things had worked out well. I hung out with friends. I had job interviews. Things were going well. And then my husband gets done doing what he was doing, which is playing poker in his office. It was going well. He comes out and he's all excited about his wins, and I listen to him talk about it. And then he asked me about my day, and as I start to talk about it, he continues to talk about his wins in poker. So that was a little frustrating because you had just talked about it and then given me the floor just to kind of interrupt and show me something on your phone having to do with poker. And he acknowledged, sorry, I'm just really excited. Go on. So I went on and I just detailed how my day went and how excited I was and how much I enjoyed it. And then comes where the shoe drops. I now have 5 jobs and I have to turn something down. And I'm absolutely horrible with turning down jobs. I feel bad. I know I have to decline something, but I don't know how to decline. I don't know which one to choose. I don't know how to choose. I don't know how to go about it. So I asked my husband, hey, how do I narrow this down? How do I pick a job? And his response is to tell me, well, go with the one you would like the most. Okay? Sounds simple enough. And I recognize how simple that sounds. But for me, it's not simple. For me, each job encompasses something that I want. I work with children. I'm helping with their mental health. I'm helping children on the spectrum. I excel in that field. I'm great with kids. I'm going to love the job and the position no matter which one I take. The hours all are about the same. The pay's about the same. I don't know how to choose. And I convey that to him. I don't know how to choose. I don't know how to pick. I don't know what to do. And he repeats, pick the one that you're going to most like. And again, I don't know. I have no idea how to pick the one that I'm going to most like. I think I'm going to like all of them. And then this is where things go wrong. And I can acknowledge that that's on me. I shouldn't have asked the question that I asked next. So, in my frustration, I asked my husband, well, how did you decide? How did I make you not want me? Because that's generally how I feel. I don't feel wanted. So I asked that question jokingly. In my mind, I was just joking, right? Because clearly my husband doesn't feel like he doesn't want me, right? So I ask, well, how did I make you not want me? And then he responds and he says, well, you just kept saying no. Oh. Okay. If you ever have had any slight issues with mental health, you can imagine the spiral that sent me on. And it must have showed in my face because as soon as I said it, he said it, and my face fell, he continued on with well, it's not that I don't want you, it's that I don't know how to initiate things with you. And then he recognizes that my face doesn't change. My expression doesn't change. I clearly still look upset. So he asked again. Hey, did you hear what I said? And yes, I heard what he said. Well, are you sure you heard what I said? Yes, I heard what you said. I don't know how much more to go into that other than, yes, I heard what you said. And so he says, okay. And that's kind of where the conversation ends, because I'm obviously upset. I don't know how to express how upset I am. I don't want to start a fight. And so instead of starting a fight, I do what I usually do, and I shut down. And I began to clean up my stuff because I was in the living room. We were all hanging out in there, and I began to put my stuff away in my office because my response to emotional things is to clean. It's to have control over something. And the easiest thing to have control over is for me to pick up and clean after myself. So I do that. And my kid's baking cinnamon rolls, and I want to stay up with him and help him make these cinnamon rolls, but I know that I need to go to bed. I need to take my meds, and I just need to go to bed. I need to tap out. So I go to my room, and I take my meds, and then I go through my routine of going to the bathroom before I go to bed, and my husband walks in and is, "Are you okay?" I despise that question. And it's not because the question is initially bad. It's not genuinely bad. But I feel like people only ask you if you're okay when they know you're not okay. How do you expect me to answer that question? You're only asking me that question because you can see my frustration. You can see my anger. You can see that I'm upset. You can see that I'm sad. Clearly, it's obvious. But I digress. And I say, yes, I'm okay. And then I take my meds and I go to bed. And I'm on the edge of my side. Usually the commentary is that I take over the bed. I'm always over the middle. When I'm upset and I go to bed upset, that is not an issue. I stay on my side. So I go to sleep. I self-soothe the best way that I know how. And for me, that is thinking of old memories so that I can relax and go to sleep. And it works. It's great. I do that. And then the alarm goes off at 8. Mind you, I went to bed at like 2. Sometime after 2. The alarm clock goes off at 8. I have no idea why the alarm clock is going off at 8. I didn't set the alarm. He did. But I'm one of those, once I'm up kind of people. So the alarm goes off, and he asked if our kid needed to go somewhere this morning. We thought that he had to be where he originally was from. And I said, no, he doesn't have that this morning. And he says, oh, okay. And then proceeds to go back to bed. And is snoring. I'm frustrated because I don't understand why I was woken up for you to ask me a question that you could have gotten the information to the night prior. Whatever. I recognize that part of that anger is from the conversation last night. And instead of being a bitch about it, which I know I can be, I get up, I go to the living room, and I lay on the couch. And I'm just going to take a nap there. I'm going to rest. So I go out there prior to falling asleep. I schedule an interview because, you have 5 jobs. Why not do an interview for another one? Again, self-harm. What if I wanted? What if I loved? In my head, that makes sense. So I make an interview for 11. So I set my alarm for 10:15 and I lay down. And at first, I thought, there's no way I'm going to get to sleep. I'm just going to toss and turn here on the couch. Everything's going to bother me. But at some point, I drift off to sleep. I calm myself down enough again to drift off to sleep. And then I hear the dogs that weren't originally in the living room. And they're coming up to me, and they've got their cold noses, and they're poking at Mom because they're dogs, and it's what they do. And then I hear my husband come out, and for the life of me, I don't know what's going on. I don't necessarily care. I'm sleeping. So he comes into the living room, and I'm awake enough to see and to notice that he came into the room, but still asleep. It's that, like, right there in the in-between. And so he comes, and I remember him, like, sitting on the couch or laying on the couch, and all of a sudden he asks, "Are you okay?" In which I respond, "Yes, I'm sleeping." And then the next thing I remember is him getting up and leaving the room, but the dog still being there. I don't know how long he was there. I don't know if he did anything else. That is my last working memory. I remember I yelled at the dog because the dog was getting into the trash, and I think he takes the trash out. Again, not very sure. Everything's foggy. I am still asleep. So my alarm goes off, and I get up, and I'm trying to corral the energy to go take a shower so I can get ready for my interview. But then my husband's not on the couch. I don't know where he is. I go into my room to get dressed, and lo and behold, he is back in bed, asleep. And I don't understand why, logically, I was woken up for the second time this morning for him to go back to sleep for the second time this morning. But now I'm awake. So I take my shower, I come do my interview, I feed the dogs, I walk the dogs, and I sit on the couch with my Starbucks coffee and I stew because I'm tired. And I'm annoyed. But he's in bed sleeping, my kid's in his room sleeping, my dogs are chill. Okay? I got this. So then I had another appointment scheduled today, and I take care of that appointment as I'm supposed to, and I'm sitting at my desk, and I'm just at my desk zoning out. And then I hear my husband get up and come out. And it's about 1-ish, and he comes into my office, and he asks, "How are you?" And I am honest. I am frustrated. I'm really frustrated. And he asks why. Because I'm tired. And you woke me up twice. Oh. I want to say he said that he's sorry. I don't honestly remember if he said he was sorry or not. And I tell him, I'm like, I don't understand why there was an alarm set for 8 o'clock. Because you went right back to sleep. Oh, well, I had a question about whether our kid was being picked up today. And that couldn't have been asked before I went to bed. Well, in the middle of the night, I got up and got a snack, and our kid was up at 3, and he said he had to do this. Okay. So, guys, this is where planning is necessary. But I'm the only person in my house who likes to plan things, to use a calendar. If indeed he had somewhere to go, why didn't we take the time to sit there and talk about this prior to everyone going to bed? Because it's not like it would have been planned overnight. But, again, it is solely my responsibility to know about all these things. It's my job to be on top of all these things. It's not that, hey, I know what's going on in the household. It's Mom Central, you should know the information. I'm going to wake you up to find it out. And okay, clearly I'm angry, I'm frustrated. Again, I'm sure you can tell by the tone of my voice, I'm just not in the headspace to deal with extra bullshit today. Okay, well, that's why he didn't find out and he had woke me up the first time. Okay, well then, the second time that you woke me up, what was the reason? And it was, well, you were looking right at me. I was asleep. Bro, like, I don't know how I looked at you. I was asleep, which is why I answered the way that I did. And he's like, oh, well, I didn't know. And I said, well, yeah, that's frustrating because, I'm tired and I'm upset because you kept waking me up. And he looks me in the face as he starts to walk away and puts his 2 fingers to his eyes and then back at me and says, oh, is that what it feels like to be upset and cranky because you didn't get enough sleep? I wonder how that feels. And I know that he's referencing times that he's been awakened. I get that. I've tried to do better at that. At this point, I just leave him alone because it's not worth the struggle. It's not worth the fight. I'll just take care of things on my own. But again, I don't understand how we get from, hey, this thing upsets me when it happens, so when I do it to you, well, now you know how it feels. What are we, fucking kids? Are we fucking kids? Like, that's how we want to do things? Well, you did this, so I'm going to do it too. And then he walks away. And again, I'm stewing. And all I can think is I hate it here. I hate being at home. I hate being in my house. I feel so unseen and so unloved. And I feel like nobody fucking cares that all this stuff is going on. And I'm the one who has to deal with the bullshit. It's me. It always falls on me. Somehow it's always my fucking fault. Everything is my fucking fault. And then people confirm it over and over again. Well, this happened. Well, you should have known your audience. You mean my audience, my fucking husband? So when I asked why he didn't want me, the answer should have been fucking no? That's my audience. Sorry for thinking that for a motherfucking second, that's not what the response would be. But it is. And so I sit in the living room quietly and I work through the things to the best of my ability. And then I send him a text message. Hey, were you joking around when you responded to me earlier when I was telling you how I feel? And he says, yes, I was teasing you. And I leave it alone. Because in my mind, me telling you about something that aggravates me or frustrates me isn't the time to tease me about it. But I know I have no control over that. And I can't worry about the things I don't have control over. I can only focus on the things I do. And today, I choose to focus on how I feel. So I take time for me. I take time to relax. I ordered myself some Mexican food because that's my go-to. If I'm upset, tacos make me feel better. It's Taco Tuesday. I'm celebrating in style. And I'm going to enjoy my lunch is the plan. And I'm going to enjoy my drink, which is the plan. And things are going to go well. And sometimes that's what that looks like. Sometimes it looks like saying, you know what? I'm having a shit day. And knowing I'm having a shit day, I need to do something for me. My first thought was, I need to buy something for me. And I still might. I might still treat myself to a new pen because pens make me happy. But in the short term, I treated myself to lunch. And that's okay. It's okay to recognize, hey, my emotions are at 100 right now, and I can't handle one other thing happening. Let me see if I can bring my baseline down so I don't feel that way. My therapist once told me that feelings are like an iceberg. And you can see the very tip outside of the water, but there's a huge, massive portion of it underneath the water. And I understood the analogy, but I didn't know how to use it the way she wanted me to. And then she went on to say, imagine your feelings as a number line from 0 to 10. And on any given day, your feelings are somewhere between 0 and 10. So today, my frustration was probably at a 7. I was already frustrated from the night before. The reason why this is important is because if I can explain to somebody my frustration is a 7, then you understand it's not going to take much more to take me to a 10 or higher. But I didn't get the chance to express that I was at a 7. Because when I started to say, hey, I'm very frustrated, my husband, who was not frustrated, who was at maybe a 2 or a 3 today, decided that teasing me was the answer. So, I implore you to sit down with a feeling wheel, and I have strong feelings about a feeling wheel. I like my core feelings. I don't like to dive into them more than I have to, but I think that it's important. And I suggest coming up with an apparatus. For me, it's a photo frame with maybe like a colorful piece of paper in the back of it or some fabric. And I write down the core feelings, the very inner wheel of feelings. And I put down where I'm at for the day. If I'm sad, then I put where I'm at between 1 and 10. If I'm happy, where I'm at between 1 and 10. That way, when friends and family come over to my house and they are speaking to me, they can gather where I'm at. And it's not that I want them to walk on tippy toes, but it does say like, hey, she can't handle much more today. I want you to make sure that you are letting the people who are closest to you know I'm at an 8 anxiety-wise. I'm at a 9 anger-wise. Like, this could literally be my 13th reason. I cannot take any more onto my plate. We have to find ways to be able to better communicate that. And sometimes talking about it just doesn't work. For me, today, talking about it didn't work. I wasn't heard. I wasn't understood. So, I hope that your day went well. I hope that your day went easy. And I hope that if your day didn't go well, you found some way to take care of yourself. You got that favorite treat of yours. You took a bath. You took a walk. You read a book. You had your favorite drink. But you did something that said, hey, I know my day has been less than I wanted. So I did something to make myself smile. Because sometimes we are the only people who care enough to make us smile. And that's not an always thing. I'm sure I'm going to get people messaging me and telling me, look, I'm always there for you and I care and I love you. And they do. By God, I know that they do. And this isn't a slight to them at all. I just recognize that sometimes we have to do something to make ourselves happy. We have to do something to put ourselves first. And today, I did Mexican food and horchata. And there is a slight chance that before I go to bed tonight, I'm going to have some ice cream. And I'm going to buy a pen. Or a journal. Or both. Because I deserve to remind myself that it's okay to have joy in something. It's okay to smile and be happy about something, no matter how small it is. I don't have to let everything ruin my day constantly. So I'm not going to let it ruin my day. I'm going to go to bed in a better mood. Even if I have to avoid my husband tonight so he doesn't say anything else to me that might set me off. I'm going to have a good day. I'm going to have a good night. I'm going to have a good tomorrow. Because I deserve that. And so do you. So, just remember, today is another page in the story. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be written. And before you close your journal tonight, ask yourself, what was your slice of pie today? Until tomorrow, love you loud.